fingerprint in that scrape. Now he does it to tell all the bucks to stay out and all the girls to come in. The University of Georgia calls it a primary scrape underneath an overhanging limb. I call it a master bedroom, and that's just what it is, because that's where the master lives.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's correct.
he's telling all the bucks to stay out and all the girls to come in. So, yep, the rub urination is all during the year. Really starts to be pronounced during pre-rut. The neck starts swelling. It's really aggressive and really starts getting dark and stained. So I hope that answered your question. And Bob, look, we appreciate you calling in, and tell everybody about the show if you would.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of guys around my part of the town that watch you guys and listen to you guys anyway. So yeah, we definitely listen to you and watch you guys. So
we do, because listen, this is a whole new format, Bob. This show's not about entertaining you, and though we hope it does, but it's more about just your questions. And you and I just have go ahead.
You definitely answered my question, because that was, that's you explained that very well to me. I didn't really look at it that deep, but now since you went that way, yeah, that makes sense. I like the way you said that. So,
well, we appreciate it.
I asked that question.
Well, listen, we appreciate you doing it. And listen, because you ask it, there's a lot of people listening that wants to know that same question. So this show, guys, is always as relevant as the last question, be it from Bob or be it from Billy, who's fixing to come up. Bob, listen, have supper ready. We coming through in a few weeks, and we'll stop in and eat supper with you. Hey, now hey, look here, you be shocked. You be shocked now, folks. We'll call you and come eat supper with you. Hey, Bob, we appreciate it. Thanks for calling in, and tell your friends. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
You bet, Bob.
Have a good night.
You too. All righty, I believe we got, is Billy Tom on the phone? Line 2. Don Bell, who we have?
Hey, how you doing, Don? This is Billy Hallmark.
Mr. Billy.
How you doing?
Man, how you doing? It's been a while since I talked to you.
It has been a while. It has been a while. So how you been doing?
I've been doing good. You got settled in out there in Missouri?
I did get settled in finally, and I'm eager to use your stuff this year.
You can't be any more eager than we are eager for you to use it. And
I'm telling you, I'm so excited right now I can't stand. I mean, season's already open, but I'm like waiting until we at least get one good frost in before I go out there. But I've got my stuff ready, and I am excited.
Well, now I want to tell you something. The folks, you can't make this up. And I know it sounds like we've been everywhere this week. What part of Missouri are you from?
I'm from Dixon, Missouri.
Where's that at? How close is that to St. Louis?
Well, it's actually halfway between St. Louis and Springfield.
Get out of here.
Highway 44, Interstate 44.
We come through there, didn't we, Steve? Listen, honest to God, man, we were going to Bayless, Illinois, and we went through most of the U.S. to get there. And what we didn't go through, Billy, getting there, we made up for coming back. And so, doggone, man, we come not far from you.
Well, I tell you what, I wish you'd have known. You got my number.
Hey.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to stop by, and I'll cook you some vittles up. And
now, wait a minute. Listen to this.
We'll hunt.
Listen now, Billy. Bob, I was just talking to, I hope you're still listening. We're going to catch you. We're going to catch Bob for lunch and catch you for supper. Because we'll eat with Bob for lunch and catch you at supper time. How about that?
Hey, you're more than welcome to do that. But whenever you're about this way, you're more than welcome. You know that.
I know it, man. Appreciate it. Billy, what's your question tonight?
Hey, I got two questions for you, to tell you the truth, Don. The first one I got for you is, hold on, let me turn this down. I got this thing up. My biggest thing is when the bucks are in, not their peak rut, but they're right before peak, and they're chasing them does. What do you suggest to get them to slow down enough for you to get a shot off it? And I'm not going to lie to you, I've had a heap of them that have just, I've seen the does, and the next thing you know, here comes the buck. I've grunted, I've beeped, I've done I've thrown an arrow at them. And I mean, I strictly do archery, so it's not like a rifle. I can take a shot at them.
Right. I was
Yeah,
going to ask you if you're bow or gun hunting.
To kind of slow them down.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you're bow or gunning. You know, you're talking just before the peak of the rut. I mean, literally. I mean, they're already making primary scrapes.
Most certainly. I mean, the does aren't letting them pin them down.
Right.
They're chasing them. And I mean, like I said, I had one doe last year come through, and I mean, she stopped long enough to get a breath. And then she looked behind her, and the next thing you know, here comes this nice buck, and it was right on her tail. But, and I mean, I did everything, even yelled to try to get this buck to stop for a second so I could get a shot, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, you know, when you got, and I want you to think about this, you're pre-rut. I mean, you're just before the peak. And just before the peak means that there's few does in, so there's competition. So there's a real focus on those few does. Everybody wants to chase those few does. So there's competition. So the mindset is really tense. The more does you got in standing, which means the peak of the rut, there's less competition because there's does standing everywhere. Everybody's running. But it kind of brings us back to the question a few minutes ago, Billy, with the guy said, well, how far will a buck run? Or, you know, I live here, and next thing you know, I'm 2 blocks over in my neighbor's house. And the reason is not because I'm nosy, it's because she left here and went through the neighborhood, and I followed her over to my buddy's house, and now he's all mad. So to get him to stop, if he's that intense, in fact, Steve and I was coming back, I told him that I was hunting in Kentucky one time, same kind of deal or similar to where I carry what I call an armadillo arrow, and I shot over them to hit the rock in front of them going through his creek bed to turn them and make them come back. And it did turn them, but they never come back around me. But he wasn't on a doe. So, I mean, I've whistled at him. If he's that intense, he's that focused, you're just going to watch him run her. I mean, that's what I've watched him several times do that, and I didn't know if anybody, you know, out there might have a secret tip that they can say, hey, do this and try it. Because, I mean, literally, I've stood up in my stand and yelled, stop! And he was so focused, he was gone. That's right. They're totally oblivious to you even standing and yelling at him.
Oh, I'm telling you the truth. I mean, honestly, I think I could have been standing down there right beside him.
How far was he from you?
Attention to me.
How far was he from you?
He probably wasn't 25 yards from me.
Yeah. And you say a good buck?
Oh, he was a nice buck. And like I said, I seen the doe come, and I mean, she stopped for a second and was panting. And I could hear him coming through the woods. And when I sat there and and she looked back, I knew he was on her tail. And I thought that she was going to stay there long enough for him to come and kind of do a little dance with her. But she took off, and I mean, he never missed her stride, and he was gone.
I've seen them, Bob, Billy, I've seen them chase, like you're talking about the doe standing there, and you can just see her rib cage just heaving, tongue hanging out. This doe come like that and ran into like a little pushed up pile, like a little clear cut we were in, pushed up pile and got up in it, and the buck couldn't get in there to her. She stood there for the longest. He walked around, she laid down, and that sucker paced around that thing for a while, and finally she got her breath and busted out, and he took off again after her. But if he's that...
Well, maybe I need to put me something down there so she can get up in there and put me a little blind or something so she can get in there and breathe a little bit so I can get a shot, huh?
Well, you know, now, you know, another advantage of decoying, I'm back to Justin's question, is a decoy. Now you have that extra image as he comes by, he's seeing another one. But I thought about that too, to be honest with you. But look, if he's a good buck, you know, and you got another buck decoy there, he ain't gonna pay it a bit of attention. Especially if it's a lesser buck, he ain't gonna give it a bit of attention. He's gonna chase that doe. So the best thing you can do on something like that is kill him. I agree with you, Don. Hey, I know you're running out of time. Here's my next question. All right.
Hey, the deer bladder. I got the deer bladder. My question is this. In Missouri, you know it gets cold.
Yep.
So I've actually used some other kinds of stuff before I purchased or become a member of the club there.
Yep.
And it will freeze. My question is in the morning time, if I heat me up some water and I submerge that bladder in that water just to warm it up, say to, I don't know, 100 something, so I can get it to the woods and let it drip at least an hour and a half before that tubing freezes up, is that going to break down the compound of that oxygen-free urine?
No, listen, two things. One is urine is going to freeze.
Yep.
All right, you're sitting in your stand and you watch that doe come up, she stands, the buck goes off and leaves her alone, and you watch her urinate, and it will freeze on the ground, right?
Yep.
Now,
Right.
Even frozen, urine smells. And if you don't believe that, folks, you better tell your wife you're going to do it, go get you an ice cube thing, pour you some deer urine in it and put it in the refrigerator and freeze it. And pop that bad boy out and put it in a glass. It's going to smell. Now, what you're asking is, does it affect the urine or does it, Billy, affect the scent dripper?
The dripper.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
Literally, Don, to be honest with you, I live on my own property. In 15 minutes, I can be in a stand from my house. That's up in a tree, ready to go. I've literally had, and I'm not trying to bust any kind of products out there, but I had these little that you pull the little wick out, and those things were frozen by the time I got to my stand in 15 minutes. Sometimes Missouri just gets down the right.
Well, here's what you can do.
I realize once I get it on the ground, it's going to be okay. My question is getting it to the stand to get it on the ground.
Right. Once it's in
if I warm it up a little bit, in some water, just enough to get down there to get it on the ground.
Well,
once it's on there, I'm good to go.
Yeah, well, look, even if you warmed it up getting it to the stand, once it's hanging in the stand, it can still freeze. Here's, if folks, and Billy, this would work for you or anybody up in the north there. We ain't much worrying about it down here. But you know the little charcoal hand warmers?
Yep. See, I thought about putting those on
That's
there.
it. Just get you something like that. I mean, literally. Just get you that, attach it on both sides of it, or for that matter, one side of it. And it's going to maintain the urine warm enough that it's just not going to freeze. Because all you care...
I didn't know if you were going to have something coming out here.
But that would be...
It's going to be something similar to that would be beneficial or what?
Well, you know what? See there? Club member, folks. Hey, Bob, see there? New product. We could actually make you a little sleeve to go over that, like a sock, that would hold that would heat it, Steve. And that way it won't freeze on you. And in fact, we could do it all the way down to the tube, to where the tube itself doesn't freeze.
Yeah. Hey, and that would be very beneficial, to be honest.
Yeah, because what we could do is what we're showing you. What you're asking, Bob, is that Billy, we could take it here, put it on it like a sleeve.
Yeah.
It would heat this. Actually, it would heat it all the way down into the tube. So that way,
up here that would be great because I'm from Alabama. As a matter of fact, that's how my brother-in-law wanted your product.
I appreciate that.
He should be getting his. I think they're shipping his here in the next day or two. He should be getting his the 1st of October.
Did he join? Did he join the club?
There, they ain't got to worry about it, but they're coming up here at the end of October, and that was one of the things that he kind of said was, y'all get cold up there, and I said, you bet you we do.
Well, hey, listen, we're writing that down right now about looking at making that's a good idea. We can look at making a sock, a heated sock to come over it, just for those people that's up here in the north to keep it from freezing. Billy, listen, we appreciate you calling in, and doggone it, we appreciate you being a club member and spreading the word, and tell everybody about it. And look, Billy, tell everybody about how to come to the show. It's every Thursday night, man. It's all about you guys, and we appreciate you being a club member and spreading the word.
Hey, I tell you the truth. Matter of fact, I ordered some of those other vacuum bottles. I got some buddies of mine out here, and I told them, I said, I'm gonna give you a little bit to try. That's all I'm gonna do. After that, you're on your own. And I'll be honest with you, I had to skip. I'm in class on Thursday night, so I can't catch your show. I had to skip class tonight just to be able to actually see the show one time.
Well, man, we appreciate it. Hey, listen, Billy, you can go. All you got to do as soon as this show's over, everybody listening.
I've been watching it after it's
Yeah,
over.
Yeah. All you got to do is hit that link.
I've been catching it afterwards, but
Perfect.
I had a couple of questions, and I said, you know what? I need to really get get on the show and see if anybody. The main one was that first one. I got to come up with some way to kind of slow them down.
Well, listen, Billy, we appreciate it, because your questions is everybody else's question, and we appreciate you calling in and appreciate you being a club member. And tell everybody about it, and we'll talk to you next week, and we'll let you know when we're coming through to have supper ready for us.
Hey, you got my number. All you got to do is give me a call, and I'll tell you what, I will definitely hook you up with some good dinner.
I bet you will, dog. We appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Hey, have a good one now.
Hey,
Don.
thank you,
Bye-bye.
Billy. Bye-bye. Folks, listen, we're going to take a quick commercial. We'll be back in just a moment, and we're going to talk to some more people about hunting the rut. You got questions, we got answers, and we're going to talk right after this brief commercial break.
You've worked hard all summer to get everything just right. Don't leave the rest of it to chance. Use the finest deer urine ever collected, and the only one in the market that is oxygen-free. From collection to bottle. Get ready. It's time to hunt.
We're live, brand new concept out here in the hunting industry. We're the only ones doing it. We're live every Thursday night, 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Folks in the Northeast, keep in mind that's Central Standard Time. You can call us at 888-810-8989, and that's during showtime only. If you call outside of the show, you won't be able to get us on that number during showtime only. You can email us at info@ruthotline.com, and you can Skype us at Hunt the Rut Hotline, and you want to make sure your signal's good, and that way we'll put your pretty face up here beside us and everybody can watch you talk to us. You can Facebook us as you do, and man, we do appreciate those Facebook questions all during the week. You can Facebook us at facebook.com/Top Secret Deer Scent. So, folks, listen, we're glad to have you back, and I believe we're fixing to go to another caller, and I believe we got James Hebner from Russellville, Arkansas. I don't believe we went through Arkansas the other day. Let's see. Line one? All righty. Don Bell. Is this James?
Yes, sir, it is.
Well, James, we're glad to talk to you.
Yes, sir, I'm glad you called me.
Well, I don't want you to feel left out. We didn't come through your state last week, but we got you live tonight. What kind of question you got?
Yes, sir, the pallet that you're selling, is that a pallet that you got put out ahead of time, or can you take it with you when you go in the woods of a morning?
Yeah, what you want to do, James, is the key to scent is when you pour Top Secret out. Top Secret's urine has never seen oxygen. So the first time you pour it out is the first time it hits oxygen, which says a deer is there then. Clear yellow urine says a deer is there. Dark urine says a deer was there. So what you want to do is to put the urine out while you're there. If you go put it out ahead of time, then it's going to automatically start ammoniating, and so when the deer comes in, you're not there. Does that make sense? So what you want to do is to use it while you're there. So you always want to put the scent out while you're there. And then, let's say, we give you an example, James. You're Russellville, what part of the state is that in?
Russellville, Arkansas is about 70 miles west of Little Rock.
70 miles west of Little Rock. Well, now, doggone it, about 2 weeks ago, I flew into Little Rock. What, did you say southwest?
West, just west, straight west on 40, Interstate 40.
Okay, yeah, because I was down around Stuttgart.
Yes, sir, that's south of me.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, what you want to do is put the urine out while you're there. And then, so let's say for instance, you're hunting this morning. You trail the scent in. You get up in the stand. In fact, I tell you what I do. I take cotton balls. I don't know if you're married, but if you're married,
It's tampons.
yeah, well, now, doggone you, Hyde, I didn't say that, you did. But hey, not a bad idea. But what you can do is get those cotton balls and think about it. Here we go. We're at your truck. We're going to go in hunting. You tilt it up. In fact, get you can go to Wally World or any, just get you some cotton balls cheap, $200 or $300 for a couple bucks. Get you a cheap pair of eyebrow tweezers. All right, here we go. You and I, we're at your truck. We're going to go hunting. You take the the eyebrow tweezers, take the cotton, dip it, drop it. You start walking 15, 20, 30 yards, dip it, drop it. Dip it, drop it, all the way into your stand. The last one you dropped is fresher than the first one you dropped. Here's why. Because the last one you dropped is the first time it hit, is the last one that hit oxygen. So it's fresher. I'm a buck. As I come in and hit it, I go to you. Now, so let's say you don't see a buck, or you kill a buck, or you kill a deer. When you're going to hunt that stand again this afternoon, it's perfectly okay to come back, and you literally can do this. You can walk that same trail, take fresh cotton, dip it, drop it by the other one if you want to. Makes no difference. You can walk, drop it by the other one. Because the one you just dropped says a deer's there now. The one you dropped this morning said there was a deer there this morning. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
always the last one you drop is the freshest with Top Secret. If it's anybody else's urine, the problem is it's already ammoniated. So it doesn't matter when you drop it because it's already ammoniated. It says a deer was already there. Top Secret says a deer's there on the last one you dropped. And hey, if you really want to be there over the period of time, get your deer bladder, and that deer bladder drips the whole time you're there. So the entire time you're hanging, you're sitting there, it's dripping. It's always as fresh as the last drip that dropped. So you can be sitting there 2 hours, 3 hours, and it drips. So you always have a urine that just hit. It's just like she just urinated. So you can do that. And any other questions?
No, sir. That was my main question right there.
Well, listen, we appreciate you calling in. How'd you find out about the show?
On Facebook.
There you are. Well, how old are you?
I'll be 42 years old Saturday of this week.
Well, how about that? Well, happy birthday.
Sir, appreciate you calling me.
Hey, listen, man, we appreciate you calling in, and tell some people about this show. In fact, somebody asked us at Top Secret, who you telling about Top Secret? We said, heck, man, we're telling everybody. In fact, we're running, literally, we're running about 280 commercials a day between Sportsman's Channel, Outdoor Channel, and Pursuit Channel. Man, it is changing the scent industry, and we're glad you're part of it. We appreciate you calling in tonight. Tell all your friends, give us a buzz back.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Have a blessed day.
You too, James. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you calling. And James, we really do appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You bet. All righty. Let's go to some Facebook questions. All righty. Let's see here. We have Bill, and he is out of Wisconsin. And he wanted to know a similar question to what we talked about earlier. Which moon phase is the best to hunt during the rut? Guys, the rut's the entire hunting season. And, again, if the moon phases has to do with the deer up moving, eating, browsing. And, of course, if a doe's up moving and a buck's coming in, a buck's up and he's out of velvet and he can breed, well, he's going to follow does. But a buck is more concerned with other bucks over a 12-month period than he is with a doe. The moon phases, though, is kind of tied into the rut, only in that it's happening in the season, and it ties to when the animals are up moving. So not so much to when the buck itself's going to come out of velvet or the doe's going to come into estrus. Has some to do with it, but mostly up moving about. We have Bobby Grooms from Newport, Tennessee, and I believe Bobby wants to know, when bucks are in the lockdown period, should we hunt the buck sign, scrapes, rubs, or find the doe feeding bedding area? Now, Bobby, I'm not 100% sure if you mean by lockdown period, if, here in Alabama, man, for the past 10, 15 years, around in December, really, first part of December to about Christmas, man, they disappear. It's like they just vanish. And hey, and I'm not just talking bucks. I'm talking Bobby, deer, sign everywhere. It's like they go to the moon somewhere. But I don't know if you're talking about that or if you're talking about a buck going nocturnal. If you're talking about a buck going nocturnal, that's a different deal. Buck urine's your answer. And the key to that is to put it out once you find a scrape. And during the lockdown mode, first part of I hunt scrapes. I hunt rub lines, especially along transitions like you're in a clear cut, along a timber wall, Bobby. Hunt that wall. But if you're hunting the scrapes, I'd really like to know if you're talking about a nocturnal buck, a buck that's went nocturnal, or if you're talking about just not seeing deer move around at all. But you always want to hunt the buck sign, but you got to put the scrapes. You got to put the buck urine in there and grunt and rattle. Because look, rattling is not always as effective. Grunting simply puts a deer downwind. And I know people don't want to get up in the tree and grunt like a pig, but look here, you get up in the tree, bucks or deer are going past you browsing, and they never know you're there. You get up in the tree and you bump that grunt, he hears it, buck's going downwind because he wants to smell what he's hearing. And what he's hearing is another buck, either tending a doe or another buck, so he wants to go down and smell what he thinks he's hearing. Thus, you got a chance to see what's walking past you. So, but Bobby, get back with me and let me know if you're talking about if he's going nocturnal or if you're just not seeing the deer. Get back with me, Bob, and let us know. Well, we have another Bob, and I believe we have Bob McHale from Carbondale, Pennsylvania. How far do bucks travel during the rut? All right, Bob, what you're talking about, I'm almost sure of it, is what you're talking about is the peak of the rut, because a lot of people, they see the bucks moving. That depends on buck-doe ratio. It depends on topography. It depends on pressure. It depends on the ratio of buck to does, but a buck will travel as far as he needs to in a given area. But a good way to look at it is that he lives here, and as the does come in, it's not that he's out gallivanting. He's coming across a doe that's come through his house or his yard. He hits the doe and he trails the doe over to your yard or down the street to your neighbor's yard or across town to your friend's house. So what happens is he's just simply following the doe, which the doe's going. The buck simply is following the doe. So folks, look, we are so glad that and I hope that answered your question, Bob. If not, get back to us. It's amazing how fast an hour will go. And folks, look, this is live. And we appreciate everybody calling in. You're seeing where all they're coming in from, who they're calling from, the states. We appreciate you calling in. And what we want you to do is to remember and tell all your friends this week. At the conclusion of this show tonight, you'll be able to go to Facebook. You can hit this link, just like Billy a few minutes ago out of Dixon, Missouri said. He literally took off from work tonight to be able to be on the show. Well, if he has to be there next week, just like Billy, you can hit that link, tell all your friends that they missed it. They can hit the link and they can watch the show. Last week's show is archived, so you can go as far back as you want to, and you can hear all the questions. Another quick thing I want you to remember is as you listen to this show, week after week, you're going to start noticing questions are becoming relevant to the time of year that it is as we're going into the hunting season. Season's breaking across the country. We're starting in pre-rut. Other ones, we're just down here in the south, in Alabama and North Florida. We're just, for heaven's sakes, getting ready to dist and plant good. So everybody's getting excited, but we're at different stages. The questions coming across will be as relevant as the last question was, whatever state you're in. So look, tell everybody, let everybody know they can call in, and we appreciate you calling in. And we're going to go to a quick commercial break here, and we do appreciate you doing it. Tell everybody, and folks, we look forward to seeing you next week here at 7 o'clock live on Hunting the Rut Hotline with Don Bell. You got questions, we got answers, and we're going to talk. Make a schedule to see you next Thursday night live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Folks, appreciate it. See you next week.
From Don Bell, the founder of Code Blue, comes Top Secret Reserve Doe Estrus, the finest doe estrus ever collected. Top Secret oxygen-free collection process is a complete generation above Code Blue. Our patent-pending collection process means no ammonia and no ammonia smell. At a limited quantity of 12,000 bottles, only 0.1% of hunters will be lucky enough to add Top Secret to their arsenal. Visit TopSecretDeerScent.com today and join the 0.1% Club.